Shalom. Shalom. Welcome back to the Midrash channel. It is good to see you again. It's been a few days since I've uploaded. As I promised, I was endeavoring to do them daily, but life and school responsibilities got in the way, and that's no excuse. It's just what happened. But we're here, and we will continue in our reading of the Tehillim, or the Psalm. Today we'll be reading Tehillim 22 and 23, or as you may know it, Psalm 22 and 23. Before I begin, I just want to say, in general, there are four types of psalm. Yes, out of the 150 or 151, depending on where you read from, of the psalms, they usually fall in four categories: confidence, kingship, remembrance, and wisdom. So they will always fall in those categories for the most part. Just a little bit of trivia there for those who may have not known that. So if you're this many days old learning that, well, you know something now. Okay, we'll begin reading with Tehillim 22. My El, why have you forsaken me? Far from saving me, far from the words of my groaning. O my Elohim, I call by day, but you do not answer, and by night, but I find no rest. Yet you are set apart, enthroned in the praises of Israel. Our fathers trusted in you. They trusted, and you delivered them. They cried to you, and they were delivered. They trusted in you and were not ashamed. But I am a worm and no man, a reproach of men and despised by the people. All those who see me mock me. They shoot out the lip and they shake the head, saying, he trusted in Yahweh and him, and let him rescue him. Let him deliver him, seeing he has delighted in him. For you are the one who took me out of the womb, casting me to trust while on my mother's breast. I was cast upon you from birth. From my mother's belly you have been my El. Do not be far from me, for distress is near, for there is none to help. Many bulls have surrounded me. Strong ones of Bashan have encircled me. They have opened their mouths against me as a raging and roaring lion. I have been poured out like water, and all my bones have been spread about. My heart has become like wax. It has melted in the midst of my inward parts. My strength is dried like a potsherd, and my tongue is cleaving to my jaws. And to the dust of death you are appointing me. For dogs have surrounded me. A crowd of evil ones have encircled me, piercing my hand and my feet. I count all my bones. They look, they stare at me. They divide my garments among them, and for my raiment they cast lots. But you, O Yahweh, do not be far off. O my strength, hasten to help me. Deliver my life from the sword, my only life from the power of the dog. Dog there is a derogatory word for uncircumcised Gentiles who are outside the covenant of Israel. Just want to add it in there. Save me from the mouth of the lion and from the horns of the wild beast. You have answered me. I have made known your name to my brothers. In the midst of the assembly, I praise you. You who fear Yahweh, praise him. All you seed of Jacob, esteem him and fear him, all you seed of Israel. For he is not despised, not hated the affliction of the afflicted, nor has he hidden his face from him. And when he cried to him, he heard. From you is my praise in the great assembly. I pay my vows before those who fear him. The meek ones do not eat and are satisfied. The meek ones do eat and they are satisfied. Let those who seek him praise Yahweh. Let your heart live forever. Let all the ends of the earth remember and turn to Yahweh. And all the clans of the earth bow themselves before you. For the reign belongs to Yahweh, and he is ruling over the nations. All the fat ones of the earth shall eat and bow themselves. All who go down to the dust bow before him. Even he who did not keep alive his own life, a seed shall serve him. It is declared of Yahweh in the coming generation. They shall come and declare his righteousness to a people yet to be born, for he shall do it. Just want to point out something. If you notice, there's a change in the prose in the Tehillim, the Tehillah there, Psalm 22. It goes from him being sad and despondent to him being trusting, for him believing in his salvation, his deliverance. Because he was surrounded by his enemies, surrounded by his situations, he still mustered up the belief that the Most High Yahweh would deliver him from his situations. And the Most High did not abandon him in the midst of him being surrounded by his enemies. Some of our enemies are things and situations that we're dealing with. They may not necessarily be a physical army, but we often feel like we're under assault. But the Most High Yah is there as our deliverer and our defense, as long as we trust in him and follow his way. He's obligated to come for those who keep covenant with him to 1,000 generations. Tehillim 23. This is one we're all familiar with. Yahweh is my shepherd. I do not lack. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He turns back my being. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. When I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. For you're with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You spread before me a table in the face of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup runs over. Only goodness and loving commitment follow me all the days of my life. And I shall dwell in the house of Yahweh to the length of days. In there again, it's a continuation of what we saw in Tehillim 22. It's still that change of prose, that belief for deliverance, that assurance that the Most High Yah will be there for me. That whole thing in verse 4, he says that your rod and your staff, they comfort me. That goes back to the Hebrew word lamed. And lamed means to instruct, to guide, to lead. It appears in Paleo Hebrew as a shepherd's staff, and it has a hook on the end of it. So his instruction he is able to both lead you, guide you, and bring you and course correct you with the hook, because it would take the hook and put it around the sheep's neck and steer them back on course. His word is a lamed. It is a guidepost. It is a GPS for his people. And if we follow his word, it will comfort us as we go through the things we endure in this life. So it's important that we begin to understand that these things are not just good sayings, but they are words to be followed, things to be observed and to be believed. And if you walk with him, he will walk with you. Well, I appreciate you joining me today for this reading of the Tehillim, Psalm 22 and 23. Until next time, shalom, and I hope you have a great day.